Hi, I'm Mark, this is Mark's Tech Vlogs on YouTube, and today I'm going to bring you guys a review of the Yale Linus L2 Lite smart lock. Now this is actually the first ever Yale smart lock I've used, but in the past I have been pretty critical of Yale smart locks, having read only bad things about their Connexus series. However, when they announced this new L2 Lite smart lock, I was intrigued, so I picked one up to give it a go. And so for the last few weeks I've been using it and putting it through its paces, and I'm going to share what I think about it in this review. I want to start off with price. At £130, it's actually one of the most affordable matter over thread smart locks on the market. The only one that is comparable is the Aqara U200 Lite, so that's a version of the U200 that doesn't include a keypad. So let's continue for price and talk about design. So if you've seen pictures of the Nuki Ultra, you're going to get deja vu when you see the Linus L2, and they've definitely borrowed some design language from that. The L2 Lite comes in a choice of silver or black, and it looks pretty smart. The body is largely plastic, but there are some metal elements. It does, however, still feel pretty well made. The main body has a twist area which you can use to lock and unlock your door manually, and then there's a button and light on the end of it. That button is known as KeySense, and you can disable and tweak its functionality in the app, which we'll talk about later. Of course, you cannot disable the twist feature. Overall, whilst this lock does stick out more than some other smart locks, I actually really like the rounded design. But what about the spec? So first things first, as with most smart locks like this, your cylinder must be able to be unlocked from the outside with a key when there is a key on the inside. If yours doesn't do that, you're going to need a new cylinder, and the most affordable way to do this is with a thumb turn cylinder or using Yale's Linus L2 cylinder. I'll link both below. The Yale Linus cylinder has a great advantage that it's adjustable, so it will fit most doors. Yale also say that for this lock to work, your cylinder must protrude from the inside of your door by about 3mm. On top of that, your door must open inwards. However, in the pack when you get it, you do get a sticky pad designed for the mount. And this makes me think that actually, even if your lock doesn't protrude by 3mm or more, you could probably still use this just by using the sticky pad instead, like most other smart locks out there. Yale don't acknowledge this in their instructions at all, but they also don't acknowledge this sticky pad at all. Alongside the lock itself, in the box you also get a thumb turn adapter designed just for this lock. That means if you've already got a thumb turn cylinder or you're buying one, you will remove the actual thumb turn using an included Allen key and replace it with this adapter. In terms of battery life, this lock is powered by 3 CR1238 batteries, and you do get your first set included. Now Yale say depending on usage, these will last for up to 6 months. Now battery life is the biggest oversight with this lock, and that's because nowhere in the Yale app or in any third-party app like Apple Home can you see how much battery is left. Now I did contact Yale about this, who basically said actually when your battery gets to 20% or less, you will start getting daily notifications in the app. At that point you'll change your batteries, and once you've changed your batteries you'll need to operate the lock 3 times in order to reset that battery notification. At the time of recording, this is not in any of Yale's documentation, and nor is it in any instructions that come with this device. And in all honesty, not exposing battery life is a very odd way of doing things. It is, however, something Yale could fix if they wanted to with a firmware update. Because this is matter over thread compatible though, you can expose it to Home Assistant. And in Home Assistant it does have a battery property. Currently for mine it just says normal. And so I guess I'll see when the batteries get low whether it displays something else. This is, however, a good time to say that because it is matter over thread compatible, it does work with a huge range of third-party services. That does include Home Assistant, Apple Home, Amazon Alexa and Google Home, amongst others. Basically anything that works with Matter devices this should work with. That also means you don't need to buy Yale's Wi-Fi hub, because this will give you out-of-home access when you're away from home thanks to whatever your existing smart home hub is. So for me that's Apple HomePod Minis. The only reason you might want a Yale Wi-Fi bridge is if you wanted to have out-of-home access in the Yale app, which I don't see the point of if it already works in Apple Home. If we talk about compatibility, it does work with most UK lift-to-lock doors, and as with most retrofit smart locks like this, you will still need to lift your handle in order for it to lock. I also reached out to Yale to ask if it worked with doors with a latch feature, and they said it still does. That means if you need to do a little extra key turn from the outside even when your door is already unlocked in order to get in, it is compatible. Alongside Thread, this lock also has Bluetooth built in. This is used to communicate with your phone. This works for the auto unlocking when you get home and for any settings you want to tweak in the Yale app. It's also worth saying that this does work with some extra accessories. So Yale sell their Dot, they sell a keypad, and they sell a keypad with fingerprint scanner. I've not tested any of those. The Yale Dot was the most tempting thing, but then when I read a bit more about it, it basically seems to read your phone and then open the Yale app, by which point I could have just opened Apple Home myself. It does mean for most people the auto unlock is probably going to be the best way to use this. What's going to be really interesting, however, is what happens when Aliro is officially released. And if you don't know, Aliro will basically be the new smart lock standard. It's similar to when Matter came out for a lot of smart home devices, and it will bring things like Apple HomeKey style unlocking to other devices. Much like Matter, there's some big names who have signed up. That includes Apple and Android. And where I really want to speculate is that given Yale already have a HomeKey compatible lock available in the States, is that maybe when Aliro gets released, we'll see something like a keypad with fingerprint scanner and NFC reader built in, so we can effectively have HomeKey. It's also worth noting that Yale's owner, Asa Abloy, have signed up to Aliro. Of course, this is all speculation, and if that's what you really want from a smart lock, I'd hold fire until we know about official accessories. But that's it for spec and a bit of speculation, so let's talk about installation. Now I have done a full install video on this channel already, which I'll link below, but installing the L2 Lite is pretty easy. You start off in the Yale app and you create an account and then add the lock. Now I already had a smart lock on my back door, so I removed that, but if you've got a thumb turn adapter, the first thing to do is remove the actual thumb turn. There's an Allen key included, so you can do that nice and easily. Then you attach the mount that is included to your cylinder. You tighten this up again with an Allen key that is included. I'd give it a wiggle at this point just to make sure it's nice and secure. Like I said, I do think you could use the included sticky pad if you wanted to as well, maybe for extra security or if your lock doesn't protrude enough. This isn't mentioned in the instructions in the Yale app though, at all. They just don't acknowledge this sticky pad. The next stage is simply to hook the lock over and then tighten up the screw. You then head back into the app, you can do some firmware updates and you can go through the calibration process. That includes you doing some manual locking and unlocking using the twist on the lock itself, and then the app will test all of that for you to check it works. At this point, you can also add it to your Matter app of choice like Apple Home. It goes in there seamlessly. It's certainly one of the easier smart locks out there to install. So let's get on to using it. So from the inside, the easiest way to lock or unlock is using that button. The default setting locks it if the door is unlocked and unlocks it if the door is locked. And I think for most people, this is the right setting to have. The motor on it is also pretty quiet, and I'd say it's quieter than the Aqara U200 on its default setting. It's not quieter than the U200 on its quietest setting, but this lock doesn't offer a quiet setting. From the inside, you can also twist the device to lock and unlock as well. And then of course you can use any third-party service you want, so you can use Apple Home or whatever else you use. When you're outside, you can lock it using the Yale app if you're in Bluetooth range or have their Wi-Fi bridge, or you can use any third-party app of choice. Whichever one you use, I tend to find it responds pretty quickly, and I've been testing this with Home Assistant and Apple Home. When you get home, there's the option of auto unlock, and this basically uses your GPS and Bluetooth to detect when you're home. Now I've had this lock installed on my back door, so this isn't something I've used regularly because I don't want my back door to open when I get home, but it is something I've used in order to test it for this review, and it works pretty well. It's certainly quicker than getting a key out of your pocket and unlocking your door with a key, and it's probably quicker than opening your phone and opening a home app and finding a lock there as well. You do also get a notification via the Yale app when it opens this way. And this does lead nicely to talk about the Yale app. And generally I'd describe it as pretty simple but functional. So when you first open the app, you'll see your favorite devices and any automations. Now automations don't really apply when you only have this device and no Yale hub, so I've not tested them out. It's also worth noting that if you don't have a Yale Wi-Fi hub, you can't do anything in the Yale app unless you're connected to your lock directly via Bluetooth. However, this doesn't affect other apps that connect via Matter. So like I said, I can check the status of this lock wherever I am in the world using the Apple Home app with no issues. Within the Yale app, we can click through into our lock to quickly lock and unlock it. And it does respond pretty quickly. You can then click into the cog in the top right to see some more settings. Some of these don't apply if you don't have keypads, but you can do simple things like toggle off the lock sounds and the LED light. You can also create smart alerts if your device is connected to a Yale Wi-Fi bridge, so again I haven't tested these. It's also here you can configure auto unlock and tap to unlock or lock using a Yale dot. Now as I said, I've not tried the Yale dot, but it does generally sound pretty pointless as far as things go. It's also in these settings where you can add it to Matter. And then we have key sense. And this is what Yale call the actual button on the device itself. And there's two options here that you can configure. You can turn on the toggle to lock or unlock it immediately when you press the button. I really like this feature and I do use it a lot. There's also the option to toggle on a lock after delay feature. This lets you long press a button on the device and then choose how many seconds it waits before it auto locks. This is really useful if you're going to be going out because you could long press the button, go out, lift your handle up, and then after 20 seconds or whatever you choose, it will auto lock your door. And then finally there's the settings to recalibrate and factory reset and update firmware. It's also here you set up a Yale hub if you were to get one. However, because of matter compatibility, I really don't see who needs one. And that's because for most part, I think you'll use the buttons on the device, or you'll use the auto unlock and your third-party app. So I use it within Apple Home, and within Apple Home, it responds really quickly. I can also check the status of it wherever I am in the world, and it hasn't gone offline once. But as I ask with all of my reviews, what are the downsides of this product? And really the main downside is that the price point does reflect that there are less features. For example, there's no option for a quiet mode where it turns quicker. The big downside, however, is that Yale do not show you battery life anywhere. And this is the first smart lock I've ever used where battery life doesn't get exposed to Apple Home, or something you can't even check within the app itself. Both of these things I've talked about, however, so a quiet mode and exposing battery life or showing battery life are things that could be fixed with a firmware update. The other thing to note is that whilst the option of third-party devices like fingerprint scanners and keypads are nice, they're not something I've tried out, and they're something I'm going to be holding off until I see what happens with Aliro and this lock. The Yale keypad with fingerprint scanner is actually almost as much as this lock is to buy anyway. And all this leads me to say, well, what's the verdict? And at a price point of £130, I think Yale have released one of the best matter over thread smart locks out there. It's also super affordable. That matter over thread compatibility makes it really compatible with other services, and like I said, it works really well with Apple Home. I'd like to see them push some extra features like exposing battery life via firmware updates, but at the time of recording that's not happened yet. I don't even know if that's on their product roadmap. If you are, however, looking for an affordable smart lock, this is worth checking out, and I'll put a link below if you want to check it out. That's an affiliate link which will go to Amazon in whichever country you're in. If you make a purchase with that link, it doesn't cost you anything, but it does help this channel out. This isn't my full-time job, and I never do sponsored videos. If you've got any questions about it, do stick them below because I'm going to keep using it, and I'll honestly answer any question you want. If I can help you out, I will. If you've enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys again soon.